live stream. Maybe I can update it. Okay, guys, if this is live and you're watching, give us 1 second. I'm just gonna title the live stream. And then maybe it's all right. Okay, I'm just gonna refresh and see if it's okay. Oh, we're live on YouTube.
Oh, cool.
I'm going
YouTube as well.
Yeah, right.
Hello. Are people listening already or not yet?
Yeah, they are.
Oh, cool.
I've gone public. Okay, I've got my windows open so I can see people on YouTube. Let's now do Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm just refreshing to see if it's on the Facebook feed.
Social
Yeah, it's live on Facebook as well. Brilliant. Okay.
Okay, cool. I'll share this on my page.
Yeah. There's a delay on the stream, so okay, cool. Okay, we are live. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, we're live. We're good.
Fantastic. Done. Cool. I've just posted an Instagram story tagging you all with the Facebook stream, so you can repost that if you want.
Should you do that now? Can we leave?
Yeah, if you want, and then because we probably wait a second whilst people are coming in for the live stream, and then we can introduce ourselves.
Okay, cool.
Oh, cool. There's loads of people in the Facebook already. 53,
Amazing.
53 people watching. Oh, nice.
Woohoo! Hello, everyone.
100 people. Okay. Oh, this is cool. I'm really loving just figuring this all out. And guys, if you're watching, just bear with us for 1 second, just whilst we set everything up, and then we'll jump straight in.
Okay, going live on Facebook. Going live.
Gotta do all the retweeting, all the sharing.
Yep. Would be good if you can share the link, actually. I don't know how to get it.
Okay, I'll share them both
In the
here,
group or something.
Yeah. I'll share it in the big group that we have.
Yep, let's do that.
Okay, here's the YouTube one, and here's the Facebook one. Nice. Cool.
Text it to me.
Yeah, I'll text it to you now. Sorry, guys. So this is the Facebook one, and this is the YouTube one. Guys watching live will be starting momentarily. 2 minutes.
Grab a coffee, relax.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get water, stay hydrated.
If toilet paper is restocked on Amazon, take your time.
It's gonna be some good times from around the world. We are in different continents, joining here together. Yes.
I got a cat with me too.
Oh, so cute. Looks so cozy. I love your hoodie.
Oh, thank you.
What does it say?
Oh, it's just an ohm.
Okay, cool.
Oh, cool.
I like your outfit too.
Oh, thanks. It's tribal a bit, so.
Yeah, I like
Although
it.
I'm sitting home, but I'm just dressing up, makes me feel a bit better.
Yeah. You put in more effort than I did because I haven't shaved or my head, my beard. I've literally been wearing this for 4 days. I'm chilling.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So fresh and so clean from here.
Cool. So if we are ready, I'll start. You ready, everyone?
Let's do this. Yes.
So just to give some context, I've been working with Brandon, my friend, for over a year on the Social Good Club. And then when all of this so self-isolation and stuff's been happening over the last week or two around the world, I just thought this is a perfect time to bring people together and kind of post a lot of these live streams and group conversations on the Social Good Club and start kind of linking all my friends and creator friends and finding ways to interact with the audience as well, and just hear from people really, and just be able to share where we're all at emotionally, how we're coping, and how we can support one another and our audiences. So today I thought we could just talk a little bit about how we're building things into our day that just helps us cope with maybe the anxiety of this whole thing, if any of us are feeling that, or just being kind of locked down in our houses, quarantining ourselves. I first off just want to acknowledge there's people, like, we're all in probably quite a privileged position, being able to like work from home, and we're probably, I'm guessing, all pretty stocked up on food and things we need. But there are people around the world where, like, you know, are reading all over the place, losing their jobs, not being able to pay rent, all of these kind of things. So I'd love to talk about that a bit in the call as well, and just figure out, okay, how can we support other people that are suffering more than we are right now, and make this a time to kind of really band together as a global community. So to start with, let's just go around and introduce who we are. I'm Louis Cole. I've been on YouTube making kind of travel videos and daily vlogs for the last, I don't know, like 8 years. And now I'm living in Venice Beach in California, and I'm living in a house with 8 friends. So we've kind of like quarantined ourselves as a community, which has brought its own challenges as well.
Oh, I can imagine.
Who's next? Mark?
Yeah, my name is Mark Brand. I'm a social impact entrepreneur. I work here in Vancouver, BC, where I am right now, and in New York City, running 2 charities called the Better Life Foundation on both sides of the border. We create archetypes on how to get people employed who face serious barriers to employment. I've done that for 10 years. And we feed right now, well, today, 1,000 people a day, 3,000 by Monday, who are in dire need, who are living in single room occupancy hotels, who are street entrenched, who live in shelters. And so my work is creating nutritious food for them and employment opportunities, and then also helping us get grounded by using social impact and design thinking methodologies to get our way out of the space that we're in.
Nice.
Milk?
Hello, I'm Milk. My name is Connie. I perform as a musician under the name Milk. I actually met Louis through a YouTube Creators for Change event. I was performing a song called Quiet, which became the unofficial anthem for the Women's March in 2017. It went viral, and my whole life kind of, the world opened to me. I was speaking about my own stories of through as a survivor, and then when I shared that, choirs from all over the world started singing the song in their own languages, and I started understanding that I'm not alone. So through that inspiration, I continue to create music that like is in attempts to heal myself in order to heal others as well. I think the better I am, the better citizen I can be to my family, to my friends, and then to the community. And then I started the I Can't Keep Quiet Fund, which I'm signed with Atlantic Records, so they will match my donations with my fund, and I choose a local, national, and international charity. And all these charities, like this year is Tuesday Night Project, Rise, and Equality Now. And all of these organizations help uplift voices and to give more chances for freedom of expression for different types of people all over the world. So, nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you.
Awesome. Matt?
Yeah, my name is Matthew Santoro. I've been making YouTube videos since May 13th, 2010. So in about 2 months, I'm coming up on my 10-year anniversary, which is really exciting.
Awesome.
And yeah, I started making comedy sketches, and then I started getting into more fact-based, education-based videos with top 10s. And I have a series called 50 Amazing Facts. And I've been doing that full time for 5 years now, almost maybe 6 years. And it's been a blessing. And now I try to use my social media and as many of my platforms as possible to spread the awareness of mindfulness, meditation, and things of that nature, and try to share my story through my struggles with depression and how mindfulness and meditation and spirituality really helped me get out of that place. And yeah, so I do the educational stuff on YouTube, and then I usually use my social media for the more spiritual things.
Amazing. Cool. Haifa.
Hey guys. Hi, my name is Haifa, and I'm talking to you guys from Dubai. I'm originally Palestinian, and very happy to be joining you guys here today. I met Louis in one of his trips here in Dubai, and it was amazing. I was just starting off, and he was encouraging me, so sweet. I would never forget that. And what I do is travel as well, and I like to focus a lot on bridging between cultures, kind of fighting racism, and showing and just celebrating everyone from everywhere, making everyone a hero of their own story. So I'm a YouTuber as well. My channel goes by Fly with Haifa, and I quit my job in TV a few years ago to do this because TV wouldn't give me a chance. And then 4 years down the line, after doing YouTube, I have my show now on TV. It's a talk show around the Middle East. So we discuss different topics and stuff like that. And what I like to do is uplift the youth and encourage them, let them know they're not alone, help them, and be real about some issues that we face in our society, tackling them, and then seeing how we can together rise and things like that. So have been doing a lot of more reflection now in these days, and we're used to traveling and flying a lot. So it's been good to actually like sit and think about what we're doing with our voices.
Amazing. Yeah, so I mean, let's just open it up just to chat a little bit about maybe some of the things that we're incorporating into our days just to help us kind of mentally or emotionally. And then maybe I was thinking even later on in the hour, like we could demonstrate some of the things we're doing. Maybe Milk, if you want to play some music, or I could just show you some of the routines I've got into, some healthy routines for my day.
Yeah, sounds great.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Haifa, what's it been like in Dubai? Because obviously 3 of us here are in LA right now. Milk, you're in LA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we've got Vancouver, so we're all on the kind of west coast of North America. But what's Dubai like right now with the lockdown?
So there isn't a mandatory lockdown yet. People have been voluntarily staying at home. A lot of people have recently started working from home, but what they say and what's in the news is that it's kind of under control. There's less than 200 cases here. They stopped flying people in, which is crazy. If you're a Dubai citizen and you're out, you can't enter the country anymore. But we have a lot of toilet paper still in the supermarkets. The shelves haven't been empty. Families have been sitting a lot together, fighting maybe more a little bit. These cute family fights. But it's unusual for everybody. And what's crazy is that my issue of living in Dubai now and you is one, I think, which is I've never lived to see such a unified issue that the whole world equally is having.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's amazing times. And how are you doing yourself emotionally and coping with it? Is it okay? Are you feeling a bit turbulent with it all, or are you high-spirited?
I think what we want to do in this live, like our gift to anybody listening to us, is we want to be so real with you guys, and with each other. Like, let's be as real as possible. And I don't know if you guys can type things out, but let's say the good and the bad, like everything. So I find myself in the beginning, I was like, oh my God, that's like the free vacation I wanted. And I actually want to sit with the family. And then few days after, I find myself jumping throughout the day from like gratitude to reflection. And then sometimes, because I have a lot of time, I do fall into anxiety a little bit, or self-judgment. So what is going to happen to me? What is going to happen to my work? Worry a little bit. But then we're going to discuss some tools of how I use to bring myself back up.
Yeah.
And where's everyone else feeling in terms of kind of emotionally?
I was gonna say, sorry, Matthew, I saw you about to speak.
No, go for it.
Thank you. I cope by doing and by creating and giving. And so sometimes I actually think this is like a really good thing to acknowledge, because like right away I was like, okay, I'm gonna set up a fundraiser and do this, and I had to like pause and like one of my friends was like, wow, you're so productive at this time. I was like, actually, this is all very for me to cope. So like if you don't feel like you're doing anything right now, that's totally normal, because this is just how I channel my anxiety. And then yesterday I was in bed like almost like for 9 hours because I had acid reflux. Like I get really bad acid reflux when I get anxious. And so it was just like coming up and burning my throat, and it gives me throbbing headaches. So my body was like, okay. So I think I took a little bit to reflect it. I was like, maybe because I've been like channeling my attention towards like giving back, my body was still absorbing the anxiety from like reading the news and seeing everything. So my body was like, stop, and just like had me lie down for a little bit. So I relate with you, Haifa. Like I ping pong between moments of gratitude and stuff. And I was talking to my friend today. He texted me and he was like, he's like, I love these posts about like feel like, oh, this is a chance for us to slow down and to think. And he's like, but I feel challenged because I know some friends that are losing their jobs and doing all this stuff. So it's like such a nuanced thing. There's like so many different elements to this, and people are coping in different ways. So I just want to put that out there, because I don't want my way of coping to make others feel like, oh, they're not doing enough. It's just like it's my neuroses, and that's how I deal. Yeah.
Cool.
I can jump in.
Yeah.
So one thing that I want to say to both of you who have already expressed how you feel, and thank you for that openness, and to anyone else watching right now, for anyone feeling anxiety or feeling down or anxious, you need to know that you're not alone. Everybody is feeling this right now. Even the most spiritual people that I know that meditate daily, they're feeling this. And secondly, those feelings are absolutely valid. And I would suggest not to beat yourself up for feeling it, because all that will do is compound on the feelings that you're already having, and it'll make things worse. So I think the key through all of this right now is just to stay present and breathe and recognize the feelings that you're having, and just know that it's okay to have those feelings. And self-love this is a time for reflection and self-love, and really reflecting on your life in terms of what's really important to you. Because right now, I think mental health is incredibly important, more so than ever, because being cooped up in our houses, we're confronted with a lot of shadows. We're confronted with a lot of demons because we have so much time to think. And we don't get that time during our normal frenetic lifestyle, just go, 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 where we're at a 9 to 5 all day, some of us, and then we come home and then we immediately turn on Netflix, or we got to watch the kids or this and that. And then we go to bed and then we start the whole thing over again. Very few people actually have the time to sit down and think about their lives and what they're actually grateful for and what they're afraid of. And you may have some dark thoughts come up, but everything that's happening right now, in the end, I think is absolutely going to be a blessing. I think it's going to be transformative for a lot of people. And I think this is a time where we need to embrace everything that's happening. And just like I said, stay present, and as much as humanly possible, enjoy this time. And I know that's going to be difficult for a lot of people because, of course, like someone mentioned before, some people are losing their jobs, or they're not sure how they're going to pay the bills or their rent, or they have kids to feed and things like that. But I want everyone to know that this is not forever. This is a temporary solution to something that is temporary. And the world is going to go back to its maddening, quick pace faster than we know. I have a feeling that things are going to go right back to how they were. And some people are going to walk away from all of this with some valuable life lessons, but many won't. And they'll just go right back to how life was before. And that's perfectly fine. But what I want people to know is no matter what the outcome of this is, just try to enjoy this time, because when it's over and you do go back to your crazy 9 to 5, you're going to wish you had enjoyed this time off more, because things like this don't happen very often. And I think that's the silver lining to all of this. So if you've got cats like I do,
Matt, do you want to share a bit about how you've personally been feeling emotionally about it as well? Like, it's great. I mean, the advice is really good, man. I think you're spot on as well, but I'd love to hear.
Yeah. Well, that is how I've been feeling about it. I have the exact same emotions as everyone else that's been speaking so far. And I just really wanted, that was sort of the summary of how I've been feeling, is I have been doing that and staying present and meditating. And also one thing that I've been doing, and like I said, I have been feeling anxious at times. I lost a lot of money in the stock market and Bitcoin and things like that I'm sure a lot of people have. And, so I bounce back and forth between that and some gratitude. But yeah, it's just a lot of, I've even been noticing some other things, like being more cognizant of what I'm eating. Even those little things like that, like I'm not really going out and doing anything. My gym's closed. How much do I really need to eat? And I've even been taking inventory of the little things like that. And so I've been having good days, been having bad days, but overall I've been having a lot more good days. But when the days are bad, they're pretty bad. Like I just get into a sort of a funk. So sorry, that was a lot of talking, but yeah, let's keep it flowing. I've been cooped up for a while, so I got to talk to someone. There's humans to talk to. It's great.
I know, and this is part of the cool thing of having friends to chat to. Mark, I'd love to hear. I mean, we're all, like I said before, in a privileged position right now, just to have time in the day, just to like do a call and talk about like things that for some people this is not their reality. And I know you work with a lot of vulnerable communities, and you may have a lot to say on this, but yeah, I'd love your perspective on what's going on and how people are doing.
Man, acknowledging privilege is the first step.
Yeah.
People are carrying a lot of guilt right now, and that's not yours. So first of all, that's not yours to hold, let it go, and then use it to your advantage. And like, what does that now mean I can do for other? The second that we snap out a personal mindset, I wholeheartedly disagree with most of the stuff that Matt said about society. I've been like really working with a bunch of global leaders around what does society look like going forward. We have a moment right now where people are reevaluating how the governments have treated us and where we're sitting. The Canadian government stood up day one and was like, EI is immediately our unemployment insurance, accessible tomorrow, no doctor's notes, online. So basically instituted UBI and said, we'll get through this on UBI. Let's just do this thing. Now we know they have access to that. We look out to the people on Indigenous reserves who've lived like this always. They didn't have access to stores. They don't have access to these things. So when we are able to stop long enough to say, oh my God, how could I possibly be comfortable in this privilege knowing that all of these things are existing around us in the world? More than half the planet lives like this all the time, every day. This isn't a maybe. So I think that starting with self is incredibly important. Getting comfortable in that, okay, I'm awake now, I'm alert, I have a moment to breathe, to take in, what is that I'm feeling? What is that pain in here? Let's access that pain. What is that guilt? What does that mean? What can I do with it? This is an incredible moment in time, and I think people are downplaying it. I think they think it's a cold, and I think they think it's, gonna pass by and everything will be normal. It's not. This is our new normal. We're going to be facing these things over and over and over again. And how we react and how we show up right now is going to change the way of our future and how we can be. So resources for us right now, and excuse me for looking down at my phone, we are bringing in tens of thousands of pounds from suppliers who might have otherwise been wasting food and trying to figure out what those new systems are. We're galvanizing our relationships that we're sort of like, it's okay, but we're so busy thinking about ourselves and about our shareholders and about the stock market and about all these things that don't matter. Like when it comes down to this, your stock isn't in the fridge. It's not going to help feed your family this week or next week or the week after. It's not going to help your friends. So while those things might be intrinsically important to people's security and their future, the present is what we've all been paying thousands of dollars to try and be in. We're in it right now. We're forced to be in it. Nobody has any idea what's going to happen tomorrow. None. Or the day after, or the day after. So that knowledge can either freeze you or it can free you. And right now it's got to be, I got to focus on today and what I can do today. Today, I can make sure that people are fed and that they're heard and we can spend time. I don't know about tomorrow. All I know is I can rest and make sure I take care of my vessel and show up for folks. So I've been doing like cooking classes online, which I've never done before. I'm a chef by training. So that's been really fun for me, teaching people how to make stuff like shepherd's pie from their cupboards, or like banana bread from all those black bananas everybody's got in their freezer that nobody knows what to do with, and all that stuff we bought from our diets, the quinoa and the seeds and the stuff that's in there. We're like, oh, what do we do with this? So I've been having a lot of fun with that, and just getting to know my family, that's your family too, Brandon, much better. I'm really excited to do my own show on Monday with you guys and go live and talk about this stuff every Monday and ground us in the week. And it's an honor and a pleasure to share space with these beautiful human beings. So thank you for having me. And also on that note, I love y'all, but I do have to jump out and manage a food delivery right at this moment. So have an amazing rest of your session. I'm going to tune in and listen to it and watch it afterwards. And I can't wait to do a lot more with you.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for your input, bro.
Be well.
Okay. We lost Mark. Yeah, I think Mark's going to do a live stream on like a one-on-one live stream on Monday, kind of connecting in and
do you know what time?
Looking forward to that. I don't know yet, but probably 12. But I love the idea of us sharing skills, like whether it's him teaching people how to cook or like doing some music lessons or just sharing some music. I'd love to, just use this time that we have to share with others and do what we can.
How have you been feeling, Louis?
It's been really interesting. Like the first few days we were just juggling decisions as a household because we realized like there's 8 of us living in this house, which is amazing, by the way. It sounds like a nightmare for some people, but it's really cool. There's enough space to like have our own little space if we need to, but then the community aspect of it and being family together is amazing for me. But we realized like typically we can all kind of be quite independent and go and do our own things. But in this scenario, like anything each of us does impacts everyone else. And there's people in the house that are more cautious and concerned and actually have lower immune systems or health issues. So we had to decide like, okay, we're going to quarantine ourselves. And then late last night, for those watching from around the world, pretty much the whole of California's issued a stay at home. I think the whole of California's issued a stay at home. I don't know if it's like being super enforced, but it's a announcement, and the mayor of LA told everyone to stay at home. So yeah, we're just at home right now. And then I think the optimist in me feels like I believe I'm going to be okay. But I do acknowledge that this is a real threat, and I'm more concerned for my family. And I know in the UK, they've been a lot slower at implementing measures to shut stuff down. Like my dad is a teacher at a high school, and their schools are still open today, but they're closing today. But all week he's been around hundreds of people. Wow. My mum works up in the city of London, and she only came back, I think, on Tuesday or Wednesday from going into the city a lot. And then my elderly grandpa lives with them as well, and he's very vulnerable. So it's kind of made me a little concerned that there hasn't been more push in the UK from the authorities saying like we need to take this more seriously, because I feel like in the US now people are taking it more seriously as a whole. But yeah, I felt like, just again, I think like you, Milk, like doing more. I've been keeping myself really busy as a way to cope, I think. And then I've also tried to, and I can share some of these later. Maybe we can go around now and share some of our like practices. But I've been doing kind of like we eat really healthy in the house anyway, but we've been eating together. I've been doing like an ice bath plunge every day, which is like really good for the immune system. It also helps me just focus and be present. So I was thinking actually later on in the stream, I might take my phone downstairs and do a live ice plunge whilst we're chatting.
That'd be fun. Yeah.
But what maybe we could go around and just share some of the practices, whether it's like meditation routines or playing music, or just little things we're trying to build into our day just to help us stay
Reading.
mentally there.
Lots of reading. Yeah. I ripped through the entire Harry Potter novel series in a week.
Wow.
Like, because I've had nothing to do. I've literally just been like rendering videos, because I'm taking my old YouTube videos and I'm rendering them with words above and below, like, you know how Facebook likes for engagement.
Yeah.
And I've been putting them on my Facebook video page. And so I'm rendering them and they take time. So in between rendering, I've just been banging these out. And honestly, they're so good. And I know they're children's books, but they're really good. And just like the movies, it's interesting that like they start to get really dark near the end. Like they're all like happy and fluffy in the beginning. And then right around Order of the Phoenix, that's when things start to like hit the fan. And then it starts to get dark. Like it's
so
really
funny. We're doing the Harry Potter marathon at the moment as a house, so we're.
Oh, are you? Yeah,
We're only on to movie number 2, but some of the people in the house haven't ever seen Harry Potter, so Raya's really excited.
It's funny though, because I'm reading the book and then I'm watching the movie. But what I'm noticing is like the first 3 were pretty spot on with the books, but then I started to notice around Order of the Phoenix, they start changing certain things because there's just so much in the book that they can't introduce certain characters. It would just be too much. So I've just been reading a lot. And I feel like this is again, a great time for rediscovery. Like maybe you haven't read a book in years. I think the average American reads 1 book a year, something like that.
Wow.
Rediscover. Yeah. Something like that. Rediscover reading, pick up a book, take your time. Just really, I can't encourage people enough to really try to enjoy this time. Cause I know that our friend there, Mark or whatever, disagreed with me. That's perfectly fine. But I think we all know that human beings like comfort and what they're used to. And after this, like I said, I think a lot of people are just going to go right back to their normal lifestyle and life will go on, you know, like there's not going to be a utopia after this. That'd be a nice thing where we all sing Kumbaya and we all like, we're one world, but the world will go back to the way it is. Stock market will go back to how it was. But like I said, there is a huge opportunity here for those that are staying present to really get a lot out of this. About, you know, some people will transform their lives. They'll realize that they love singing and they're going to start singing for a living. And maybe they realize they weren't happy at their 9 to 5. They may quit their 9 to 5. So there's a lot of potential for transformation here. And I hope people take advantage of it.
Yeah. I mean, and to be honest, I don't think any of us know the future and what's going to happen and whether things are going to return to normal or whether we're going to have to reshape society. So we're all just guessing at this point. But I think the thing that we can be sure of is that we're going to pull through as a global society and we're going to figure this out. And even if people are in the short term losing jobs, in a financial insecurity, and even if there's friends and family that are ill or even dying, I think obviously that's a terrible situation to be in, but I do feel like there's still hope, and that's what we need to hold on to rather than operating out of a place of fear. But yeah, Connie, I'd love to hear some of your coping mechanisms that you're putting in for self-care in the day.
Yeah. So because I sit a lot for what I do, like I'm by my piano right now, but I'm sitting a lot. So I'm doing walks, and I'm also doing like a 1-minute plank every day just to like get the heat going and remembering like, okay, because it's I could wear my stretchy pants all day and like be in sweatpants and like, you know, do some anxiety eating and that's fine. I think it's okay to do some of that. But to just remind myself that like my body still needs me to take care of itself. So that helps me because I have a very active mind, and playing classical piano really soothes me. I've like been opening up my like music books from high school and just like reading them again and relearning the songs that I knew, because I'm a songwriter and I write like pop songs, but sometimes it's nice for the page to just tell me what to do so I don't have to think. and just like finding humor too. I'm trying to like focus, like that quote of like what we focus on expands. So if I'm like focusing on like the fear, then that definitely expands, and I have the power to do that. And I also have the power to expand the hopefulness. So my friends and I are creating a music video just for us. It's really just for us, but it's we're gonna stitch together all the good news, and who knows, it might get pulled down because it's like people's proprietary stuff, but we're like, let's stitch together a cool video with music that has all the good news that we've seen from the dolphins in the Venice canals to the blue skies in China to people like grocery stores designating like elderly hours. I love that, like all those things can like remind us. And it's funny, like Matt, you were saying about the world kind of going back, and I actually had 2 days ago I got really depressed because I was like, what if we just go back to what it was? And I had to like both hope for better changes within each of us individually, because the system may not change, or maybe it can, but I know individuals can change, so I focus on that. And I think you mentioned that, but also surrendering to what happens if things do go back. And I'm just allowing myself to like accept whatever outcome comes. And so trying to like focus on, as a doer, I'm trying to think of like, so the phrase came up to me a lot last week, was like, what now? But then my boyfriend was like, well, why don't you just break apart that sentence and just take away the what and just focus on now? I was like, okay, so if I say what now, just take away the now. Obviously, like songwriting and music is some like how I process, and like a lot of FaceTime with friends, like I'm FaceTiming with friends that I've never FaceTime before. Like that's just not in our friendship repertoire. And it feels really good to be like, okay, we're adding this to our friendship vocabulary. It's pretty cool.
Can I jump in and ask you a personal quick question?
Yes.
When I just want to know what your definition of, or what it means to you, of things going back to how they were. I'm just curious.
Oh yeah. Thanks for asking. I think because the COVID-19 is magnifying who is marginalized in our communities, and right now we're being very caring and giving. Like a lot of us are doing like independent food drives and all that stuff. Very beautiful. And I just, that moment when the world is moving and you're walking by a homeless person and they're literally asking you for change, like,
yeah,
it couldn't even be written by a movie writer. It's like, can you spare some change? World change, social change, money change. I just hope that we implement these different types of policies, and also people in power realizing they right now have the power to have forgiveness policies for rent and mortgages. Like that is a choice. Like profit doesn't have to be king, or doesn't have to be queen. And I hope that our society can embrace the fact that like sometimes living slower is beautiful. Like what if we had a 3-day weekend, like the slowing down helps our environment. And it and so I'm really excited for actually like for us to have this global climate change conversation, seeing what is changing just from us stopping for just a short amount of time. But I was curious to see what like Haifa you're thinking, and how you're dealing with all this too.
I saw something interesting a bit yesterday, but it sounds a bit crazy. So do you guys want me to share?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so one of the things that we're doing here is just our neighbors, very few members, they come and they just visit. So it's not like a big gathering. And, they're my mom's friends and all of that. And they're like, look, there's this psychic that before 2020 started, she said there's a virus that's going to hit the whole world and it's going to shock everyone. And it's going to be originated from China. But then the interesting part of what she said is that it is suddenly going to disappear in like a 2 months time or something. It's suddenly going to disappear. So whether, we choose to believe in psychic stuff or no, I just found it a bit interesting, the fact, you know, she said like it was before 2020, and
Wow.
I know we've all been watching like things from The Simpsons, or there's even that book, The Darkest Days or something, all of them saying that there's a virus called COVID-19 that's gonna hit. And you can literally, if you Google The Simpsons and write coronavirus, you can see a whole episode on coronavirus. So it's just been interesting.
I think scientists have been saying for a long time as well, like taking it back to, I mean, who knows what people believe in terms of conspiracies, and that scientists have been saying for a long time, just because they've been seeing the risk that there was going to be a global pandemic at some point. And this has shown how unprepared we are as a planet. And thankfully, I mean, it is still going to kill potentially tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people, which is terrible. And I can't wrap my head around that, really. Yeah. And I think often in our privilege and day-to-day life, we kind of forget that there's people dying literally right now. But it could have been a lot worse if there'd been a higher death percentage rate. So in a way, I almost feel like this is going back into that question of how does it look in the future. I think we do need to. I think a lot of people were living very comfortably, but there's also a lot of people suffering already, and there's marginalized societies and people that don't have access to the privilege that we do and the things that we're doing in our lives. But I feel like moving forward, we need to restructure society to have a better reaction to when there's national emergencies and international emergencies. And I think we need, for me, I can see why there would be a fear of things not returning back to how that was, but I think there's hope in things becoming even better for people, and not just for us in our privilege, but better for the entire planet, which is something that we, in this conversation right now, we don't have a voice speaking from a place of, I've lost my job, I'm broke, I have no money, I'm trying to take care of my kids, I had a family member die, I don't have access to food, like all of these things that are happening even in America right now. So I think we need to be aware as we're talking like this. And I'm in a similar boat to you, Matt, that I have the privilege right now to, you know, take the day. I've been listening to audiobooks. We've been having fun evenings as a household. And in a way, on many elements, this is actually an enjoyable experience for me right now. And I know what you mean by like, I can learn to enjoy this time off, but that comes from privilege, man. Like I do feel like that's because I can work from home. Our food is stocked. I have friends around me. No one in my family's ill or have died. And I just feel like we've got to recognize that. So I just want to challenge you a little bit on that, kind of like just learn to enjoy the time, because we can do that. We can enjoy from our perspective. But I don't think a lot of people are in that place. They just can't be in that place. So that's why I'm kind of saying for this conversation, let's focus on how can we cope. And for some people, they're going through a lot more than us and what we're.
I want to add something to that can bridge what we're saying, what we're going through, and people who are struggling. So I personally know a friend who is living in Paris, is to film tourists. She goes month by month. She now is in danger of getting kicked out of her apartment because everybody canceled and her job is literally under threat. Like she wouldn't be able to go through that month. So what we can do to kind of balance is if just us speaking and whoever is listening to us right now, the privilege, we just reach out to personally and look for one family or one person that we can help. We can help balance this out and not just depend only on governments. I love fundraisers. I love all of that, you know, collecting food and giving to people. But I also really find joy, and that's what we can do other than just researching what's the next book. For example, best video to watch now or book or something like that. We can research one family that we can personally help. So that's something that we can balance between our privileged life and finding someone else. And I also wanted to bring like an interesting point that I've been thinking about. So I'm from the Middle East, my best friends are from Yemen, And Yemen has been going through starvation for years. I'm originally from Gaza, which is, they say, the cleanest spot right now from coronavirus is Gaza in Palestine, which has been in quarantine for almost 13 years, minus plus. So there is no lockdown. There's the mosques and religious places are still open because they've been on lockdown anyway, so no one can go in and out. So there's something about coronavirus, that, like the current situation, it was just unfair that only certain people in certain places suffer. I know it sounds crazy, but the fact that all of us now got this slap, all of us, everybody's sitting at home and can't go out, makes something unified. Why is it only that certain people suffer? And again, I know that like homeless people are suffering even more and more, but I'm just speaking about a different dimension where it wasn't unfair for a very long time that certain people in one place are quarantined. Maybe that will raise some empathy between us coming back. But this is where our role is here. We need to keep reminding people because it's so easy to forget.
Yeah. And I like your idea of doing because I'm doing a weekly fundraising concert on Mondays at 7. Please join.
Oh, that's so
fundraising
cool.
for Feeding America. And people are being so generous, and it's really beautiful to see because I think everyone wants to help. But Haifa, what you're saying of like reaching out to an individual, like having that intimate contact is really, really beautiful. So maybe I'll put like a post-it on because I live in a big apartment complex, but I can just put my number and be like, if you're needing help for shopping or something, because I'm able, like,
or rent.
Yeah.
I'd love to, whilst we carry on the conversation, I'd love to just ask the people watching right now how they're coping and maybe some of the situations they're in, because we're all just speaking from our lives, but maybe there's people that are suffering a lot worse than us. And I'd love to just hear different situations people in, how they're coping, maybe the help that they need. So in like 10 minutes, we can just check the comments and respond to some of those. I think that'd be a really cool way to open up the conversation.
I'd like to share an anecdote of my friend who is a server at a local restaurant. And so when the COVID-19 was starting to like become a thing and we hadn't like committed to closing down dining, my friend who's a server's perspective was like, the responsible thing for these small business owners to do is to just shut down so that they can file for unemployment. If not, they're like opening and then having just a few customers come in and out, and then like she's there risking her health for like maybe $30 of tips like for her whole shift. So once her business owner shut down the business and said it's only takeout, then all the servers, because they can't do takeout, so they were able to file for unemployment. And that was something I would not have learned because I'm not in that business. So that was just really interesting for me. So I have a lot of empathy for servers right now too.
By the way, someone's commented that we're all touching our faces continually, and I know there's advice not to be like touching our face, but just to reassure you, I don't know what you guys are doing to keep clean. I have some anti-disinfectant. I've been like spraying down on my surfaces, regularly cleaning my phone. I've got wipes that I'm like wiping my hands with. But yeah, I think that's a good point. I'm like touching my face constantly whilst we're chatting.
I'm like, yeah. What else to say?
But yeah, that was observant. Whoever commented that. Do you, before we carry on, and maybe we could go back to some of this conversation around privilege and stuff, but do you, just to lighten the mood, do you want to play any music, Connie, that you've been working on? I'd love to hear. Yeah.
Okay, cool. This song is like interesting. It could be related because this is such a global chat for all of us. It's like over there.
Oh, you've gone really quiet, Connie.
Okay, my turtle's over there. He's gonna be swimming around, so you'll see him, but you won't be able to see my hands because of the framing.
We should all go get our pets in a minute, and we can like have a pet hangout.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Let me know if you can hear this. Okay. Can you hear that? Okay. arrival. Fewer cars and more bicycles. No more fighting for survival. You would hear the song on vinyl. If I ruled the world, if I ruled the world, ruled the world, ruled the world. If I ruled the world, if I ruled the world, ruled the world, ruled the world. You'd see a doctor if you're sick. Mary, don't you worry about it, 'cause there'd be no crazy bill, no more $1,000 bills, and age would be a source of pride. You've got beautiful lifelines, 9 to 5 include your nap time, and there'd be TED Talks at halftime. All the sexist, racist bandits would be sent before rehabbing, and instead of feeding fear, we'd be feeding half the planet. Damn it! If I ruled the world, if I ruled the world, ruled the world, if I ruled the world, if I ruled the world, ruled the world, ruled the world, if I ruled, it would be less about me, more about you, more about you. If I ruled, it would be less about me, more about you, more about you. We be kind to refugees, plant more trees in inner cities. We'd bus kids to see the ocean. Some kids never see the ocean. I'd make rules more beneficial. I'd make every driver signal. Only love is my perspective. Only love is my objective. I keep music in the schools and hear every point of view. If I ruled, it would be less about me, more about you. If I ruled the world, if I ruled the world, ruled the world, ruled the world. If I ruled the world, if I ruled the world, ruled the world, ruled the world.
Wow.
Yeah. I love that. People are enjoying that a lot. I'm reading the comments.
Great.
Oh, thanks so much for sharing. Such an
Yeah.
amazing song.
Isn't art like?
I love that song.
That's what I've realized is like everyone's turning to art, right?
You've got an echo on your voice now.
Oh,
It's cool though.
Yeah, I love it.
That's
It's
my
like that
trick.
the reverb.
Yeah, I gave it depth.
Nice.
That I've noticed how everyone's turning to art, like books, movies,
Dance.
dance. Oh my gosh, I love seeing the musicians on the balconies in Italy playing with
Oh
each
my
other.
gosh.
Yeah.
So good.
Did you see the video of those Spanish
for sure.
guys and they were like playing a song about washing your hands?
Mm.
Oh, I'll have to link you later. It's like a reggae kind of thing. It's so good.
Nice.
That's so great.
Yeah, Haifa, have you got any daily routines right now that you're doing just to keep sane or to keep positive?
I'm going to share with you something, guys, that we all have. I guarantee you that everybody listening to us live can do. And I think maybe Matthew would like this as well. And he can join in and share his techniques on how he does it. But one thing that dramatically helps us biologically and mentally is breathing. So breathing deep is something that I love to do. And it directly helps, especially if we do it mindfully and like at least 3 times after one another. So what we can do, and we can start doing that together now. So are you guys ready to breathe deep a bit? Okay, let's do a little stretch. Let's do a little stretch, guys. Let's do a little stretch. Come on. Oh yeah, a little stretch. Okay. And my cousin right here, you can do it as well. You can breathe with me. Okay, so let's take a deep breath on the count of 8. So you guys breathe, take a deep breath. And then hold it in. Hold it in and let that oxygen fill your chest. Imagine love filling your chest as well. And now breathe out slowly. Let's do that one more time. Keep relaxing. Notice how your shoulders are even dropping. All your muscles are dropping. Let's take another deep breath together. Hold it in your chest. You can hold your heart if you want and hug yourself. Give yourself some love, compassion. And breathe out. Notice how your shoulders are dropping, your muscles. It's like that free drug, darkly, you can feel it. Let's do it one more time because there's this thing about it being magical after 3 deep breaths. So let's do it, guys. Give yourself that gift. Take a deep breath. Let it fill your chest. Hold it in. Hold it. Let it hug your brain, your whole body. And let it out. And if you want, you can have, like, let it out with some voice as well.
Ooh.
Ooh, yeah, like that. Yeah. And if you feel, if you don't mind looking crazy, you can do that. Like the girls and I do it in retreats, and we breathe deep and we all let it out with a lot of voice, and we're like, Yes, I love it. You there's the voice has power, just like Milk when she's singing. She feels it, but us as listeners, we can also do that through breath. Let's do one more crazy one with sound. Okay, let's do it.
Okay. And guys, if you're watching at home, please join in. This is like a group exercise.
Yeah, that's all of us together, guys. Come on, let's take a deep breath. And we're gonna use our voices now. We're gonna sound funny, but no problem. Let's take a deep breath. Hold it. And now out with voices. So this is like an inner massage, you know, for the soul, and you automatically, you know, feel things are different. How do you guys feel? How did it feel?
It's so good.
Thank you for
Everyone felt good. How did you feel, Matthew?
Well, very good. Well, yeah, as it's nice that you know that. I mean, breath is life, and most people's breath is unnaturally shallow. So
exactly.
Yeah, and the reason for that is because there's some sort of correlation that even I've noticed in my life, that before I learned breathing exercises, I noticed that there's a direct correlation between how much I'm thinking and how deeply I'm breathing. And the more you're thinking, the more those, you know, frenetic thoughts are happening in your mind, the more shallow your breath is because you're not focusing on that. That's why one of the best exercises you can do to become present is to breathe deeply and focus entirely on the breath. So very important exercise. Thank you for that.
Exactly. Yeah. And you know, there are so many ways, and you guys can Google some of them. There's one of the breathing exercises where you can literally like clean your lungs and filter them, which you breathe kind of backwards. So do yourself this favor. It's free. All of us have, you know, can breathe. You can do that anywhere. I love doing that when I'm sitting with family and having dinner. I force them to do it. So even try to do it with friends. I know I'm such a weirdo. And some breathing exercise. Yeah. So the other breathing exercises are like this. And you literally clean your lungs out like you're cleaning, you know, your car from oil or whatever. Yeah. So find other ways, find what suits you, play with your breath. It's free. It's available for us all.
I wanted to
guys, go ahead.
Oh no. Oh yeah, what were you gonna say?
No, I'm just gonna talk a bit after this. Whenever you're finished, I was
just gonna share that I'm in a long distance relationship, so my boyfriend's in Memphis, and so I'm not gonna be able to see him for a while. I don't know. We've decided like we feel best staying put, And so at the first week I was like, oh no, I don't know when I'm going to see him. Like, and then I had to sit with this, like, why do I feel anxious? Like, what do I desire from him that I cannot give myself? And I was like, oh, I want to feel loved. I want to feel heard. I want to feel seen and taken care of. And then so I do this thing where I put one hand on the heart and one hand on my belly and close my eyes. And I learned this from a meditation teacher named Sarah Blondin.
You've gone quiet, Connie. We can't quite hear you. Sorry.
Oh yeah, I've learned this from a meditation teacher, Sarah Blondin. And so one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly, and I just do deep breathing. I say, I love you, and I'm listening. And I just tell that to myself. I'm telling myself that I love you and I'm listening. And so I don't have to feel anxious that I'm not with my loved one, because I can be my substitute boyfriend for now. If that makes sense. Just love myself.
Oh my God. On that amazing note, oh my God, I love what you're showing and what you're saying. You know, you got me fired off here.
Yeah, look at you.
I'm actually going through like a mini breakup kind of thing. But I don't know, I'm just happy because everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And I decided that for now, before getting into like the next relationship, I'm going to work on myself. And I was reading this book about relationships today that says we think loving, we have it intuitive, while sometimes we have to learn how to love and hear others and learning about love languages. So yeah, while we're sitting alone, and I love what Matthew, what you said about shadows. Dude, we all have a lot of shadows and it's getting a bit uncomfortable because we're facing them. So I was doing a bit of therapy. And this time I stayed with my friend. Me and her were in quarantine and she's a life coach. And she was facing me with things and we were doing hypnotherapy. That was good.
Wow. That's amazing. That's
so
a good
cool.
person to get quarantined with, a life coach.
I know, right?
I love that meditation and just breathing is so accessible as well. It's not like just for the privilege or you know, I live in Venice Beach and it's just like the most spiritual hippie, like everyone meditates, everyone does yoga. But I think even if you're, you know, in a completely different environment, wherever you're watching from around the world, I think we could all take time just to stop, to gather our thoughts, even if it's for like 2 minutes, just to like center ourselves and be and try and step out of that anxiety or that fear or that stress that we're feeling. And just thanks for leading us through that kind of breathing meditation, Haifa. I like feel so good already. But I think amazing. Yeah, I think it's so, for me, that's so accessible, and it can help calm us in a time of like kind of feeling all of this, feeling all the feelings.
Yeah.
I'm going to try something now. I'll try not to take too long, but I think I can call in from my phone as well and join the call. And then I just want to take you downstairs. Last year, I overcame a massive fear in my life, which was cold water or just the cold. Like I've always really, really had this massive reaction against being in the cold myself. Like I'd never have a cold shower. I'd never get in cold seawater or anything. And it was a mental block for me. And I felt like some of my housemates were doing these ice plunges, which is like, I mean, they do it a lot in Scandinavia where you jump in a frozen lake and then you go in the sauna and stuff. But we got a chest freezer and filled it with water and we keep it just above freezing. And they were doing like plunges in the cold water because it's apparently really good for your immune system. It like really helps boost health-wise, longevity of life, like all of these amazing things. But also for me, it was this opportunity to overcome like my biggest fear and like break through this barrier of like, I'm going to push myself to do the thing I hate the most, the thing that scares me the most. And some people might be like, that's a stupid fear. And like, you know, they might not relate. But for me, it was a really big thing where I would physically be shaking out of fear before getting in. And it would really be hard for me to manage. But now for the last, since this all started, I've been doing 5-minute full submersions in the ice bath every day to firstly break that mental barrier of like, I'm going to push myself mentally and the challenge of like that self-discipline of like stuff in life we have to do sometimes that we don't want to do, and to feel motivated. And I think right now, and I've chatted to a few people, they're not very busy right there. They're not, when they're self-isolated, it's actually a time where people are feeling depressed and they're slumping into a place of just like binging TV shows, which is fine. Like I'm binging TV shows, but when you're just in a place where you can't get motivated at all, people aren't getting dressed and they're just feeling like in a place where they can't motivate themselves to do anything. Like for me, this is a really powerful tool of doing an ice plunge. And I know not everyone has like a chest freeze with cold water, but even if it's a cold shower in the mornings, I would say like there's something about pushing through that barrier of doing that. So anyway, I was thinking whilst we carry on the chat, I'm going to do a 5-minute ice plunge whilst we're chatting.
Yeah, let's go see that.
Let me see if I can.
We can do it with cold showers because I'm like, where do I get this thing you have and you're doing? But have you guys been like, I see a guitar. Do you play the guitar at night? Do you guys like have gatherings? Do you play games? What have you guys been doing as a community? You can talk us through as you're walking to.
Yeah. I'm going to switch around.
Oh, nice.
Okay, just flip the screen.
Double Louis.
What, isn't it working? Is that working now? Okay, cool.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to... Wait, let me put my AirPods on and then we'll have better audio.
Yeah, but don't get them wet.
Yeah, no, I'll be cool. Right, I even actually pre-prepared with this. I actually already got changed into my swimming trunks.
Cool.
Going in on adventure.
I can show you a little. Wait, can I flip the camera around live whilst we're doing this? Yeah, I can show you a little tour through the house.
Yeah. Where's Raya?
Raya, I don't know. These are my housemates.
Hi,
And Sophia, Sam, Alexander, Fish.
Oh,
His lightsaber.
that looks so
fantasy. A few people online.
Mm-hmm.
Right, let me flip back around. Okay, so this is the ice bath. Ready for it? So this is outside. We've got this chest freezer. Switch this around. Check this out.
Oh my
Really?
gosh.
There's like ice in here.
Oh wow.
And
you're joking.
Check this out.
Fridge.
It's at 0.2 degrees Celsius right now.
Oh my gosh.
Yo.
Yeah. So let me flip this around.
It's like a big fridge.
Yeah.
Louis, could you do this? Could you do this for us? Could you keep the camera pointed at you and just ease yourself into it?
Yeah. I'm gonna do it here. Can you see me? Is that good?
By the way, while you're doing that, I'm gonna make myself a nice hot coffee.
You go for it.
Go ahead and enjoy that.
I'm going to speak you through. I'm going to speak you through this experience for those at home wanting to feel motivated. Also, this took me a long time to build up to, but just for those that feeling that they need to get out and push something today, hopefully this will give you some inspiration.
By that live, I just got a lot more spicy.
The one thing that I'm cheating with is these little wetsuit booties that I put on just to keep my feet from completely freezing.
Oh my gosh.
And I do a little timer on my phone.
Louis, what is the actual risk of frostbite doing that? Is there a time limit where you could actually start to get frostbite?
Let me jump in and then I'll try and answer your question. Okay.
Wow.
Oh, it's always the first minute. Wait, shall I bring this closer?
Yes.
Okay.
So we're gonna chat from the ice tub. I love this.
Okay. It's always the first minute. That's the hardest. And when I first started doing this, I was tensing all my muscles and shivering really hard immediately. But literally, if you can relax, like I'm actually surprised myself right now. Normally, like I can't speak the first minute, but if you can relax your muscles and just calm and like almost embrace the pain. I think this is kind of metaphorical for life as well, is like doing this. I actually first heard about this from, do you guys remember Jerome Jarre? Yeah. He was massive on Vine, and then so Jerome, like we're great friends. I haven't caught up with him for a while, but when I first met him, he told me like this was something he did, was getting an ice, like just filled his bathtub with ice and got in as a way of facing the fear and the discomfort of it. And then my friends, Yes Theory, they have a YouTube channel, Yes Theory. Their whole tagline is seek discomfort. And I think there's something really powerful about facing the discomfort of life sometimes, and like facing, like stepping out of the comfort zones, because all of us have like these comfort zones and these safe spaces we're in. But I think sometimes the adventure of life, or the things that our goals or our dreams in life, are the other side of that comfort zone. And I think this applies to so much in life, and so many, you know, I think this is kind of a metaphor, but for me, this is like a physical overcoming this like absolute fear of like,
oh my God,
putting my body in full ice water. It's like,
I'm super impressed right now, man. Like,
yeah, I'm really inspired.
Yeah.
You didn't even look
shook at all.
I'm telling you, when I first did this, I was screaming in agony. And there's been this, firstly, I think a mental overcoming, but also your body adjusts and you build up the tolerance to it. But yeah, I did a whole YouTube of my channel, a whole YouTube video on my channel, like showing the whole process of like overcoming the fear, the pain of it, the mental challenge, and then like building up to be able to do this for 10 minutes. I've been in for almost 2.5 minutes now. I'll get out at 5 minutes and we'll carry on. But yeah, in terms of your question, Matt, about frostbite and stuff, I think when you start going above 10 minutes in ice water, you're risking the kind of what's the word, like
Hypothermia.
Yeah, hypothermia and stuff like that. And I just think, yeah, that probably doing 3 to 5 minutes, and in a cold shower, which most people have access to, you don't need to worry. But yeah, I think there are some slight health risks if you're like submerging in ice water for too long. But anyway, I thought I'd share this with you because for me, this is like a daily part of my routine right now. And I think genuinely it helps me stay motivated. And if I wasn't doing this, I do feel like I'd be like probably just kind of moping around the house a bit more right now, because I don't have the same things that I'm normally doing when I'm going out the house and meeting up with friends and doing stuff outside. So this is like part of my mental health coping mechanism.
Can I share while you're enjoying your nice warm bath there, Louis? I wanted to share something similar that I do, which is not an ice bath, but something that I recently overcame was kind of my fear of not eating enough. And what I discovered was that I was really overeating. I've never really been fat, but you know, I feel like we all have that little bit extra that we can lose through the gym and things like that. But I was noticing that I was overweight in my midsection, and no matter how much exercise I did, I couldn't get rid of it. And it wasn't until I started talking to a friend of mine who's a personal trainer who said, well, what's your diet like? And I told him, and he said, you should be eating half that. And I said, wow, like it blew my mind, because, you know, all fear can be boiled down to the fear of death. As a human being, no matter what you're afraid of, if you keep boiling it down, like, why am I afraid of this? Why am I afraid of this? And keep boiling it down, it all comes down to an aversion to death. We don't want to die. We're obviously, because we want to survive. And I realized that I would always overeat for a fear of maybe not having enough. Maybe it was a bit of a scarcity mindset, some old programming from before my YouTube career taking off. And I realized
I've just finished my 5 minutes, so let me just get out. I'm actually going to run back upstairs because I've realized we've gone quite a way over.
Look at how red you are. Look at how red.
Yeah, look at that line. So we've gone quite way over an hour right now, and I just want to honor those people that kind of said they could stick around for an hour. So I was just thinking we could probably wrap it up.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I totally, sorry to interrupt you, but
yeah, all that I was saying was eating was my ice bath that I was a fear of.
Yeah.
And even years into my career, even when I had money, I was noticing that even when I was at parties and stuff, I would eat as much food as I could, or even if I was on an airplane, like, you know, if a company flew me business class, I would have to eat all the free food and drink all the drinks. Like, and I started to realize it wasn't until one day I was on an airplane that I was like, wait, I don't have to do that. And when I go to a party, there will be food later. and so like there's always like it basically what it comes down to is you're either in an abundance mindset or you're in a scarcity mindset. And it's super important to live in an abundance mindset because it helps you to overcome all of these things, such as overeating, such as all of these things, because a lot of overeating can be boiled down to a fear of, well, it's obviously there's a lot of things like medical issues and stuff, but you know, there's always going to be enough food available, always. And so anyway, that's just my thoughts on the topic, but.
Thank you for sharing that and opening up about your story and the scarcity versus abundance mentality. That's quite deep. You shared a lot of deep insights with us today. And I think where we're sitting right now, we can really, a lot of people created things in times like this. I don't know if that is 100% true or no, but I read a tweet about Isaac Newton creating something in a time of quarantine like this. Again, I'm not 100% sure about this specific information, but the idea behind it is we can think abundantly on, like, is there a book that you've been putting on pause and you wanted to start e-courses, an application? Time in itself is a gift and is a currency, and we are given it now. And that's your story about abundance and scarcity reminded me of that, because it's a conversation my friends and I have been having. And are you okay now with food? So are you over that?
Yeah, so that's what I was getting to, was just like how like I know they're different, but how Louis overcame the fear of the ice bath, which again boils down to a fear of death, right? I don't want it. Something inside of him was saying, I don't want to go in that water. Something will lead to an illness or something that will hurt me down the road. But with the food thing, I have dramatically reduced the amount of food that I eat to the point now where, like, for example, even the old triggers still happen. Like, we've been talking for a while. I haven't eaten yet today. I practice intermittent fasting and I'm starting to feel grumbles. And the survival part of me is like, you have to order food right now. Like, you're going to starve. But we can go multiple days without food. It's not recommended, but we can. And the human body is so resilient to whatever you throw at it. It's just that initial hump of getting over eating less food or getting over stopping smoking. Like, the pain is temporary. The pain is always temporary. And as intense as it might be at the beginning, and your brain is going to say, no, eat that extra food right now, or smoke that cigarette, or don't go in that water, take a warm bath. It will pass and your body will adjust. And look at Louis. He slid in there like it was a warm bath and he had a nice glass of wine with him and he was chilling for the night. Like, so anything is possible. Your body will adjust to anything you throw at it, and you'll always be all right.
Totally agree. And also I wanted to point out something, which is there's a lot of information out there that's currently being shared. So whatever we hear about the virus, just try to make sure of what it is, or health stuff. There's some information about things spreading on how you can test yourself at home and things like that. I personally know a doctor that is in this field. So I've been checking with him, and how I shared earlier about the psychic. Don't believe me, don't believe these psychics, whatever. Don't just take anything we say as a given. Go and research, do your own things. And I hope you guys, maybe now if you're sitting, you can write something that you really want to focus on. Louis really inspired me today to move to cold showers. And I love the idea of a plank as well. I really want to work out. I've been just eating more than moving my body. I've been struggling with that.
Just like 1 minute, just put up every day when you wake up and attach to something you do every day, like peeing. Like, so I attach it to when I pee, I'll do a 1 minute plank, like not at the same time, but after I pee.
Adds up.
Cool. Well, I think I'm just trying to see if there's some comments. I'm shivering a little bit now. I normally jump in a hot shower afterwards, but I'll do that in a second.
Don't be weak, Louis. Don't be weak.
This is Scout. This is Scout. Matt, do you want to get one of your cats? I want to meet your cats.
They're sleeping because they're lazy.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
get
that-
it.
Louis, I think there's a blanket behind you.
Yeah, that's my
Yeah,
turtle,
there is.
Speedy.
Oh, the turtle.
He's 20
Is
years
this the
old, by
house
the
that I
way.
visited you in, Connie?
What'd you say?
Is this the house that I visited you in
Yes,
when we
yeah.
recorded the song?
Yeah. So
I also want to say congrats for your new song. I love it. I love it. The
Thank
music
you.
video is amazing. The words, your voice, you're such a gift. I admire you. And yeah, one thing we can definitely do, I've been in touch today with all my friends, childhood friends, people I didn't speak to in ages. And it's been good.
Oh, look at the cat.
glad you're
Hey guys, what I'm thinking is, because I'd love to do another live stream where we open up and maybe have audience members even come on the call with us.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't think we've got time to like go through all the comments today, but if you have been watching, I just want to say thanks for joining the call. Thanks for hearing the different perspectives. Thanks for meeting Matt's cat. Oh my gosh, your cat's so cute. Also, thanks so much for Mark that came on at the beginning of the call and just hearing what he's doing and the fact that he had to go off, and he's actually spending a lot of his time supporting the people that are not as privileged as us right now and that are kind of in a place of suffering. And so I just want to acknowledge him and thank him for joining. And like he said, on Monday, I think Mark's going to be doing a live stream on Facebook with us. But yeah, thanks for everything, guys. And yeah,
Thank you, Louis.
we're going to sign off.
Thank you.
See you
Go jump in
later.
the hot shower. You deserve it.
Yeah, I'll go and jump in the hot shower. See you
Go,
later.
go.
All right.
Bye,
Bye.
guys. Thank
It
you,
was a pleasure.
everyone.
Bye,
Thank you for joining
See ya.
in. Bye.